So we go inside our Aston Martin, and of course we have something different for a key. We have what Aston has come out with as a motion control unit, and this is a crystal and glass key. And if you drop it and crack it, it's $2,000. So you want to make sure you look after it. There's also a black key, a key fob as well, a spare. So you may even elect just to use that, or if you loan the car out, give that. And so to start the car, you just take the key into the receptacle, and I don't want to start it in the showroom here, but what it requires is that you push the key in and hold it for 2 seconds, and as you do that, the surround turns red and then it'll start. If you just go halfway and power everything up and then hit it, it won't start. This remains clear. So it all has to be one motion. Okay, so that will save you the embarrassment of not being able to start your car. Okay, so then the DBSs have 2 transmissions. There's a 6-speed manual and then there's an automatic, and this is just park, reverse, neutral, and drive. You just hit the button, the diode lights up, and then you're in gear. You can also use these paddles, a positive and a negative, on the steering wheel, but you needn't. This is a ZF 6-speed transmission with a torque converter, and it works the same as any automatic, and in fact it is the same automatic as you find in some Mercedes and some BMWs. Okay, so going through it, in the center console here, we've got, if you look in there, a bunch of, let me try to get this here, in there we've got a bunch of jacks for the various audio devices. The one that you'll use most common is of course the iPod and the iPhone jack. So the iPod just sticks into that, and then you run it just right through the audio system. There's also an auxiliary jack, and there's also a USB there. This guy here is a cup holder bracket, and it can flip both ways, so you can have it forward or backward, and then you can put the cover on. This is a pad, you can see this, for your shoulder. Kind of a strange thing, but there you go. And you can move it side to side or take it out. This is the mechanical key, so this gets you entry into the car. Should the key fob battery die, you can at least get in the car, and then you can use the motion control unit to start it. Even though the battery's dead in it, you can still start the car with it. But this is what you use. So you shouldn't probably keep that in the car. So this Aston has active suspension, and so what that means is that the valving in the shocks is adjustable, and there's a computer that monitors all the car's road behavior and yaw and steering wheel angle, etc., 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 and decides how firm the shocks should be. And the computer does a great job of being adaptive and doing it for you, but you can override it by hitting this button here, which is it's got a little shock on it, and that stiffens the shock up. And in this car, it makes a pretty big difference, actually. It's a lot of cars you can't even really tell. The sport button has to do with the automatic transmission and how long it holds a gear and how quickly it shifts gears and so on. And it's quite nice to leave it in sport, actually. This button here with the little lines on it, that's the stability control system. So this uses the ABS wheel sensors and the steering wheel angle, etc., etc. It knows if you're in a skid, and then it can break individual wheels to steer you out of the skid. This here is a pen. You press it, and it comes out. Now, Peter, you didn't get a pen because we ran out of them. So I ordered one for you, and I'll get it to you. Or you can come by and you can take this one, which I just found. Okay, so that's that. The automatic door locks are here, and the boot release is here. The convertible's a little bit different. It'll have the hood mechanism to raise it and lower it in that position. We've got a button with some P's on it, a P on it, sorry, and that is the park distance control. And forgive my focusing. And that will deactivate the motion sensors on the front of the car. And then we've got a button here for the fog lights. The memory is on the transmission tunnel, and you'd hit the M and the 1 simultaneously to set the seat memory. Okay. For the infotainment system, which is this area here, we can power up the car, and we have navigation, phone, and then menu, AM, FM, and mode. So the mode is basically the items which would be connected to cables in the center console, and that would include the CD, auxiliary, USB, or the iPod. And so the menu item then has all the options for those different systems. So if it's an iPod or if it's the auxiliary, etc., you'd toggle between the mode, CD player, etc., and the menu to select your different functions. Okay. The navigation system, of course, it lives up there, and you hit the navigation and then nothing happens. So if the navigation's lit up, then you hit enter, and then you wait a couple seconds, and then it pops up. And the navigation's pretty straightforward. You know, it's probably a whole video in and itself, but you would navigate it using the this joystick here, and you'd generally go to advanced mode, and then you can toggle through the the different controls or whatever. To put the screen down, you hit the shut down the system, and that will delay the, with a bit of a delay, lower the system. You can see that when we turn the power on, we get these fancy Bang & Olufsen speakers which come up. Okay, so we've got that, and for the phone, the connecting it with the Bluetooth is very straightforward. Basically, you just get your device to look for the Aston Martin, and it'll find it. And the code is 1234 on all the cars, at least all the cars we sell. So get the BlackBerry, the iPhone, to look for the car. It'll find the car. It'll ask you if you want a pair. It'll ask you for the code. The code's 1234, and then you're good to go. Okay. And then we've got a back button here that we can touch. The clock can be set through the menu. It'll always go to the last thing you were using, so we're using the phone, but then the next item down is clock adjust, and if we needed to set the time, we can do that. And there's some settings for the car settings as well, which we can suggest, and that's the menu button. Okay, so for the climate control, which is this business here, it's pretty self-explanatory. We've got an auto mode, and then you just leave it alone, and you can change the temperature or the fan speed with this knob here, and then you can change the temperature there, and then it comes up, and we can see that it's making the changes on the screen. This degree here is the outside temperature, and this one is the inside temperature, and we're just basically, with all the cars, just leave it in automatic and let it do its thing. They can be pretty aggressive about trying to change the temperature in the car, and if that's the case, you can just sort of manually, lower the temperature down and then hit automatic to set it back up. Okay, so above that we've got the CD changer, and then we know to use that we go to mode and menu, and we've also got the presets for all of the memory, etc. These here are fog lights, which you can see operate on the upper console, and we've got some radio buttons for automatic seeking and scanning, and the tire pressure. So it's actually pretty simple car. On the instruments, the speedometer is going to go counterclockwise, and the tachometer goes counterclockwise, the speedometer goes clockwise. All the necessary stuff there. If anything's wrong with the car, it's going to tell you in the instrument cluster. On the steering wheel, we've got our cruise control functions, and then our phone functions. Actually, so that's phone right there, and then cruise control is on the other side. On the mirror, you can see these 3 buttons. That's the home link system for your garage door, etc.